What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be detailing a 2013 Honda Civic. Before we get started, if you can, hit like, subscribe. We would really appreciate it. We have a bunch more detailing videos coming to you on the channel. So here we have the car we're going to be detailing today. Again, it's a 2013 Honda Civic. The owner has not gotten it washed in a while. I believe he said it's been over a year since he's owned the car in 2013. He said he's only gotten the car washed at a machine wash a handful of times. You can really tell from the outside, I don't know if it picks up on camera, this car is filthy. There's dirt and road grime really caked into the bumpers. Especially on the doors, the door jambs, and all the crevices. This was only supposed to be an exterior detailing, but after looking inside the car and speaking to the owner, we do go into the interior to clean it up a little bit. Right here you can see the driver's seat doesn't look too bad. The closer you get to it, the worse it gets. Middle console's a bit dirty, some coffee spilled. There's some dirt and dust caked onto the dashboard, as you can see right here. And just in general, the car isn't abused, but it is not cleaned. And the owner was really hoping to have it freshened up. I'm not sure the dirt and filth really gets picked up on camera here. The door cards are pretty dirty. The door sills, door jambs, all very, very dirty. We're going to be using various products. I don't really have an allegiance to one brand. I will make sure to have the links for anything we use in the description below. The owner of this vehicle uses it to transport his young son to and from sporting events. So on top of having a baby seat in the back, the trunk is filled with some sports equipment. As you can see here, again, in the trunk, lots of dirt in and around the opening. So step one, we start with a power wash. I like to use a power washer, really try and get off the bugs in the front of the vehicle and any loose debris and dirt on the exterior surrounding the vehicle. This is also the time I would use the snow foam, but our equipment was malfunctioning and I didn't have access to another foam cannon. So step two, wheel cleaning. This is where I'll actually start the cleaning for the car. I start from the bottom up. We're going with P&S Brake Buster. It's one of the best wheel and tire cleaners I've used. It starts working right away. I like to spray it on a contactless wash at first. And then I'll spray it on for a second coat and actually scrub. I'm not sure you can pick it up in this video, but the wheels are actually really rusted. And it took away a lot from when the wheels and tires were clean. But we do have a fix for that later on. So now we move on to step 3, using an iron remover. Today I tried out the Adams iron remover for the first time. My experience with it today was a little mixed. When we spraying the hood here, I didn't feel like there was enough in this bottle, honestly, to do the whole Civic, but I feel like it did perform fairly well. After a few minutes, you can really start to see the iron contaminants draining off the paint. When I use an iron remover, I really am not shy about spraying it on the whole vehicle. Ultimately, this bottle did not last the entirety of the Civic. I would probably give the Adams iron remover medium grade, though it did have a good performance initially. It didn't seem to last, and I do switch to the Meguiar's iron remover after this runs out. For anyone who hasn't used an iron remover before, what you're doing now is you're spraying an iron remover onto the paint, and it's actually taking out iron and contaminants from the clear coat. You're able to see that after a few seconds, purple lines and a purple liquid starts to drip down. You can kind of see the purple here. This is where we run out of iron remover. I was able to do about half the car. From here on out, we move to the Meguiar's iron removing spray clay. This can also be used as a lubricant when you clay bar. I felt the performance of this was a bit better than the Adams. I felt like I saw more purple streaks, and there was a little bit more in the bottle. Now that that's done, step 4, washing the car. Today I'm going to end up washing the car 2 times. First of which I'm going to do right after we use the iron remover. There might still be some residue or film on the car. I want to wash that off. I want to wash off the dirt. And I want to get into the crevices. I also like to take a small brush, do the grill, the emblem, the harder to reach places that the mitt might not necessarily reach. On this first wash for me, it's pretty important to get the whole car covered. I want to obviously go over all the places I use the iron remover, but I will be washing the car a second time today, a little bit more detailed, opening the doors and whatnot. This is really just to get the paint ready for clay bar. Again, the brush really comes in handy for those hard to reach places with the mitt. As we go along here, if you guys have any questions or concerns, feel free to comment. I usually reply pretty quickly. Now that we've gone over the whole car and it's washed, we'll be moving on to step 5, our next step, and my personal favorite, clay bar. Today I'll be using the Mother's clay bar kit. I have a Mother's kit. I also have a McGuire's kit. I don't necessarily have a preference. I like both pieces of clay. If you've never clay barred before, what you want to do is spray your lubricant down very thoroughly. You want to have a lot of lubricant, then gently glide the piece of clay over the paint. And as you do that, as we'll see in the hood here, it'll pick up a bunch of contaminants out of your clear coat. Here's a close-up of the dirt contaminants that we just pulled from the clear coat. For anyone concerned about clay barring, you should not be afraid to go over your plastic trim pieces and windows. Make sure when you're using a clay bar, if you haven't used one before, in the event you drop it to the floor, you do not continue using it. At that point, throw it away. It's going to be too contaminated to continue using. Here's another close-up of the clay bar after the fender. Again, a lot of contaminants taken out of the paint. Again, another close-up of the piece of clay. This is after just part of the roof, the driver's door. here is the clay bar process, normal speed. This is about how fast I go. Again, I apply very little pressure, and I make sure to keep the piece of clay lubricated on the paint. From here on up, we'll speed it out so you don't have to watch an hour and a half of me clay barring. Now that the clay barring process is complete, move on to our next step, step number 6. That's going to be the final wash. I don't necessarily know if you need to wash the vehicle twice while you're detailing, but for me, I like to wash it after I clay bar, get some of the film off, and really get a little more detailed in areas I might have missed on the first go-by. During this wash, I'll also open up the doors, hit the door jambs, the hood, and the trunk to get a more thorough clean. Shout out to my cameraman for the day. He was only able to help me for a short while, but while he did, thank you, Nick. I appreciate the help. Once that secondary wash and your final wash is complete, we move on to our next step, step 7, drying the car. When drying, I like to work top to bottom. I use very good towels, all of which I've gotten from the rag company. I'll have a link to some of them in the description below. This also allows me to continue cleaning the vehicle. Not only am I drying the car, but I'm also able to, again, open the door jambs, the trunk, the hood, and get into some of the crevices where I might have missed with the soap. Right here you can see, hitting the door jambs, the towel is damp, but it'll still absorb water. And while the towel is damp, I'm able to go over any of the dirt areas that I've missed and make sure we get all that dirt out of there. Again, you can see after we opened the trunk, there was a little dirt in the crevice between the body and the taillight. We were able to get that with the rag. We're going to be breaking this video up into 2 parts rather than show you a sped up version of about 45 minutes, which ended up being about a 4.5, 5 hour detail. We're going to break it up into 2 parts, 2 videos. This is going to be part 1. That's it for this video. Make sure you guys check out part 2, which should be linked up top right here. If you haven't already, hit like, hit subscribe. We would really appreciate it. And thank you guys for checking out the video. Hope you enjoyed.